Check, check, 1, 2, check. Good, Mike.
Hello? Thank you all for coming tonight. It's great to see so many of you, including so many candidates. Tonight's PVA is candidates night, and all of the candidates will get 2 minutes to tell us why we should vote for you and what your top issues are. You will get a 30-second warning, and then you will hear the bell. After each group of candidates has spoken, there will be time for a question to each of the candidates. Candidates, please keep your answers concise to a minute. Also, please don't spend your time attacking another candidate. The PVA board here tonight includes Jim Ordelli as moderator, Roger McDaniel as roving mic person, Allie and Mike Selmer, Allie Grossman and Mike as timers, Sharon B. as our check-in person, and me. Klaus is off duty tonight because he is a candidate. PVA is a nonpartisan group conducting meetings to educate the local community on political issues, candidates, and other community events, charities, and nonprofit groups in Albany County and the state of Wyoming. Our next meeting is August 17th. Before I turn this over to our moderator, please find someone close to you and share 2 minutes on what is new and good in your life. Thank you.
We ready? Okay. Good evening again. Welcome to this toasty evening. We got the fan working, so. Anyway, welcome to Candidates Night. Good to have you all. We have 22 candidates, so democracy is alive and well in Albany County, so. Okay. Once again, candidates, you'll get 2 minutes, strictly timed, and then the question period will be from 2 people in the audience per group, and you'll have a minute to respond on that. So we'll time you as well. And again, as Marion said, please keep You guys know PVA. Keep it to a high level. Don't waste your time doing the blame game on personalities. Stick to the issues, and we'll hear you out. My format today is we're going to start with city council people, wherever you are. You're going to be coming up here. I have enough chairs, I think. And then we'll go into all the county people, starting with commission, and we'll end the evening with the legislature. So, okay, ready to go? City council folks, come up. I've got Newman, O'Doherty, Jesse, Henderson, Ralston. Did I miss anybody? Okay, candidates, a couple of issues in terms of holding office and why we should vote for you. So we're going to start here. Eric, you'll be first. You're up.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight and the opportunity to participate tonight. As I run for Laramie City Council Ward 1, my first and foremost priorities are that the public are informed, involved, and heard. Those are my three cornerstones to my candidacy. And after listening to thousands of people in the course of my life here in Laramie, Wyoming, in my career, there are certain things that come about. Transparency, participation, and thoughtful planning lead to better decisions. And I want to thank you for the honor of your vote should I be elected.
That was Eric Henderson. I'm Erin O'Doherty. I'm running for Ward 3 City Council. I was first elected in 2018, and you know how the surveys always ask like 3 issues. I've got 1,000 issues. So in broad terms, I have a degree in ecology, so I've studied animal habitat relationships. I've been concerned about the environment my whole life. So on City Council, that translates to protecting our water from the aquifer, the water from the river, and then also protecting the water downstream of Laramie. That also translates to reducing our carbon emissions. And so I've been working on that since I've been on council, and then reducing our solid waste and increasing recycling. I helped get glass recycling going again in Laramie. I'm also concerned about human rights, and to me, on council, that means making sure everybody in this community feels like they're part of the community and they don't feel ostracized. And I also want to be a champion for renters, as I have been. 51% of our population are renters, and to me, housing is a human rights issue too, because it's where people get generational wealth, and if you're shut out of that, then you're going to be hurting. And then also it translates to getting more training for our first responders so they can respond to people that are having mental health crises. So for a lot of those reasons and more, I look forward to more progress on City Council. Thank you.
How's it going? I'm Brett Ralston. I'm running for City Council in Ward 3, and I'm running for primarily 3 reasons. One, I've been in Laramie for about a decade, and it's given me a lot more than I ever thought it would, and I feel a little bit indebted to the community. There's a lot of good people here and a lot of good things that I want people to have, and because of the good experience I've had, I want everyone else to have it too. I want us to build a flourishing community. My second reason is that I think I have some skills in scientific research and education that allows me to think about complex problems from a lot of angles, test solutions, come up with new solutions, test them again, come up with new solutions, and work with people to take difficult concepts and distill them into understandable ones. And then third, I'm 29 years old. The median age in Laramie is 26.9. And I think that it's time that Laramie has some youth representation in this community to show that we respect them and that we can participate in local community. My platform kind of consists of 3 things, but I'm not just like a 3-issue voter. I like thinking about problems. That's one of my favorite things to do. I'm curious and I love to learn. My three things are housing and economic development. Let's get infrastructure for housing. Let's get infrastructure for businesses. Let's try to incentivize pipelines that let people use their skills from the institutions here in town, the university, LCCC, WyoTech, to build jobs, start careers, keep people here. Also, local community engagement and participation, not just in the government level, but like also neighbors knowing each other, building a culture that supports each other, and working towards a community that can support each other. And then third and finally, something that I'm calling technological prudence, which is in the face of data centers, making sure that we have the city and the county working together to make good plans and using good information so that if something like this were to come, we can say yes, no, you have to be transparent, and you must benefit the community. Thank you.
Okay, everyone can hear me? Okay, great. My name is Nicholas Jesse. Thank you all for being here this evening. I'm running for City Council Ward 1. I was born and raised here in Laramie, and I currently work as a career services manager at the College of Business here on campus. I have a degree in communication, a double minor in public law and African American studies. I am the former chair of Laramie Pride Fest, and I continue to serve on that nonprofit board as an advisory board member. While I'm running, I want to keep Laramie livable and economically viable. I think we can do this through housing expansion and affordability, economic development, public resource protection, and supporting city employees. Growing up in Laramie, it was affordable for young professionals and working families to put roots down, working families like my parents, and grow their families. I hope to unlock that possibility again for our community. I think we can do this with housing supply and affordability, which can drive job creation. It can strengthen our local tax base. It also helps recruit and retain skilled workers who might otherwise leave to relocate to other affordable areas. With development, obviously, comes public resource protection, so we must value our Laramie's delicate ecosystem, specifically the Casper Aquifer and our beautiful open spaces that protect it. I believe that water and energy-intensive businesses require close scrutiny, and I would support a moratorium on data centers to protect our main water source. Finally, I want to support our neighbors who've built careers in serving Laramie because it's their service that keeps our beautiful city running safely and smoothly. Laramie raised me and instilled a passion in community engagement. I'm ready to give back to my hometown and invite you to join me in building a community that lives our values, supports our neighbors, and thrives together. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Brandon Newman. I've been on council for 4 years now, and I'm up for re-election. I'll tell you, I just had some dental work done, so my face is really numb. So I will make you a promise. I will keep this under 2 minutes if you promise to remember my name when it comes to voting. All the candidates up here talked about a bunch of buzzwords, right? Housing, infrastructure, water. I'll tell you, for the next 4 years, I promise to protect all that. But what I would really want to focus on is the relationship with the city and the county, the city in WyoTech, the city in LCCC and UW. We have a big problem with our youth leaving Wyoming. Both of my daughters recently left, and that creates a problem, right? So that's kind of some of my focus is trying to keep our youth here, which will help develop the Laramie that we all love. Thanks.
Okay, quick on the question period. I'm going to take 2 questions per group. Raise a hand and Roger will find you. Please frame a question concisely. We're trying to fit everybody in tonight before midnight, so keep. And direct your question to the group. No one-on-one questions. And same protocol. Be respectful. No personal. I don't want to use the A word, but attacks. And if possible, keep your seat during question period. So first, and then we'll go in order that we have here. First question, anybody? Okay, we got.
Thank you very much for running. My question relates to housing, and how do you see the fact that we have the Urban Renewal Agency and the city, and if there is any potential for conflict of interest in making decisions that are not popular by city residents.
Marav, thank you for that question. What I would say first and foremost is I want responsible growth. With respect to this, in the case of the Urban Renewal Agency created in like 2022, I want development. I'm an advocate for responsible growth, but I do not want to see it happen at the expense and detriment of existing residents and neighborhoods. I want that very clear, that existing residents are equally important to that growth. And in such, the Urban Renewal Agency, I'm afraid that it leads to the public paying for property that, in the case of 4G property, it could have been property that would have been developed in spite of an urban renewal blight area designation. That is important to me, and the gentrification that threatens the West Side Historic District remain an issue. Thank you.
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about what the Urban Renewal Agency is, and it's comprised of citizens. The meetings are open. It's not working for certain developers or whatever. And the way the TIF funding works is if a property is now taxed at $100 and it gets developed, and now the taxes would be $200, a portion of that money would go towards things that benefit the community. So it's not just for that development. It's only if it benefits the community. And so we have areas, I think infill development makes a lot more sense than spreading out into the county. Thanks.
Yeah, I think the Urban Renewal Agency does a lot of work looking at how to improve the urban environment in Laramie. And when the whole thing with the 4G property was going on, as a young person, I was like, cool, there's an opportunity for developers to come in and make houses. And that's something that's getting rid of young people, that people are leaving Laramie for, is because there's not houses. And so, sure, there's a lot of misunderstandings too about what it is, but just coming from my own personal perspective, I won't talk too much about the details of it. I'm really pro-housing, and so if this is something we can use to build houses, and a lot of people are for it, people that I've talked with, I don't have too big of an issue with it at the moment, so.
As I mentioned earlier, I'm pro-housing as well, expansion and development. I think we need to think about it sustainably, and what does sustainable development look like? I think we ask our neighbors. I attended the community forum on this issue in the West Side, and many of us were actually there. I see a lot of faces. I think what was valuable about that was it was community input on an issue. We gathered at tables, we connected with each other to come up with actual solutions, not a one or the other, but how do we bridge the gap and build collaborative coalitions in our neighborhoods to solve these issues facing us. Thank you.
I think the URA is a good tool if we use it correctly, and to use it correctly, we need input from people like you guys, right? Tomorrow, City Council will vote on our town hall meeting, which will be July 29th from 6:30 to 8 at the Lincoln Center, just on this topic of the 4G property. I'm pro-housing. You know, there's only so much that we can say, I want housing, but not in my backyard, because then where do we build, right? And this is a good step to try something new. And if it doesn't work, it basically will take the input from you guys and make changes. And that's what I plan to do on council.
Okay, I'll take one more question if we have it for City Council. Wow. Yes. Again, keep it concise, and you're doing well on the 1 minute. Great. Okay, you're on.
How do you see your relationship between the city and the county developing over your term?
Thank you for the question. Intergovernmental relations are critical to our community with not only county and city, but city and state. It's essential that we all work together to economize and synergize the best solutions come with informed public, transparent solutions, discussions ahead and before the decisions are made, not in the last minute and not without proper public notice and not compromising anybody's rights to that notice. November 18th stands as a 2025 fine example where that needed to happen to a higher degree, and I will be on council if elected and reinforce that happening. Thanks.
I think we have good relations with the county now, and we're increasing our town and gown presence with other entities in town. I was part of the group that helped prepare our aquifer protection, that went out to look for consultants to come up with that plan and helped build that with the county. Also, I know that we work with, the city works with the county when the city finds we have similar software that the county's now adopted, and I'm always pushing, are we helping the county with that? And if they have questions, issues, and there has been collaboration also with our sheriff department and our police department. Thanks.
From what I've seen, it seems like the city and the county do work well together, and I hope that if I was elected, that those relationships just get better. I think that there's a lot of big things that could affect both the city and county that are just kind of in the sphere right now. Data centers, droughts, aquifer protection, property taxes, and if it's good now, it just needs to get better, I think, if we're going to handle these really tough topics. So I just hope to work continuing that good relationship, reaching out when we need to, and making sure that we come to the table with good facts and the needs from both of our people.
As someone who grew up here, I value community building and relationship building. That's something I pride myself in as being good at. I think government works well when it works well for us when people work together, right? And I think that if we develop these relationships that sound already good, we continue to bolster them. I know one that's not great is the University of Wyoming, and I know this isn't to the county point, but we need to really bolster that relationship here in town as an economic pipeline. I think we can work with the county to develop some of that relationship building too. So yeah, thank you.
Eric, thanks for that question. Being the HR guy, I think our relationship's better. It's not as frightful as I first learned that it was supposed to be on council. And I'll tell you the thing that I do. I can look out and I see a bunch of county staff. I see a bunch of I see a couple commissioners. I see some state legislators. I'll tell you, I don't care the letter behind your name because I have a relationship with all of them. And I have no problem picking my phone up and calling them because I tend to do it a lot. And I rant, and then I see them at, Freedom Has a Birthday, or I see them at Farmer's Market, and then we talk and we're over it, right? So just being the HR guy, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing now.
Thank you, Council. Wow. I knew there was a reason I picked council first. Follow their lead. They're the model of doing this tonight. So good job, council. I'm going to flip to county now. Let's take county commission. I have Gosar, Halbsgut, Ben David, Boss, and Jones.
Good evening, everybody. I really do believe you shouldn't vote for politicians with a lot of hair. I really do. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be a county commissioner here in Albany County. I moved here 20 years ago for the second time and thought I'd be here 1 year. It's the community that really makes a difference. I think you govern the way you campaign. You work, you tell the truth, and then you work at it. 4 years ago, we talked about the aquifer, and now I can stand here and be very proud of the fact that we have a joint Casper Aquifer Protection Plan with the exact same boundary that the city had. For decades, that was not the case. And then just last week, the Supreme Court affirmed the County Commission's ruling about zoning above the APOZ, the Aquifer Protection Overlay Zone. That was a really big part of why I ran. I also think land issues are really immense. Pilot Hill is a wonderful opportunity, and we need to find ways to make that financially sustainable. While I was the chair of the commission, we passed the most public land-friendly natural resources plan this side of Jackson, I think maybe on the other side of Jackson as well. I really do think public lands are a really important part, not only for protecting the aquifer, but for making a livable city. And then finally, the one thing that I think I like to tell people and hopefully hold to it, I'm going to tell you without political speak what I think, and I'm going to get back to you. I think for too long, people don't return emails, don't return phone calls, aren't available. And I think people should expect more from their politicians. You should expect a phone call back. You should expect an email back, and there should be an answer. And if not, you should stay at it. So thank you all very much. Pete Gosar, running for re-election county commissioner. Thank you.
Good evening, and I want to echo what I've already heard already. Thank you to all you great people for coming out and being part of PVA's Candidates Night. Thank you all the candidates for coming out and also being part. So, I don't lift Jim down. My name is Klaus Halpsky. Many of you have seen me in just about every role at the PVA. I like off-duty, but I'm going to consider tonight that they suspended me, and I'm only allowed to be a candidate. I'm hoping that I'll get unsuspended tomorrow. But anyway, seriously, I've lived and worked in Albany County my whole life. I run Import Auto Repair. It is the longest, same location, same owner repair shop in Laramie, Wyoming. And I've spent decades solving problems. That literally is my job. Staying accountable and showing up for this community. That's just how I operate. I have served and continue to serve on multiple boards, quite a few as chair. This volunteer work keeps me in touch with the concerns and needs of our community. I pay attention to what's happening locally, and I frequently reach out to our elected officials. Quite a few of them are here, and they can testify to that. And I just ask them questions, whatever's on my mind, and I've been doing this for decades. So this volunteer work, along with my experience as a longtime business owner, has prepared me for the challenges of being a commissioner. And I hope you give me the opportunity to prove it to you. I'm running because we need steady, practical decision-making, no drama, no politics, just clear information, public input, and long-term thinking. That's how I've always worked, and that's how I'll serve. And for more information, since I've got a little extra time, surprise, surprise, go to klaus4.com. Or if you want more information about all the videos and articles that I've been in, just Google Klaus for Commissioner. You'll be blown away. I am. Thank you, and thank you for all again for coming out tonight.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rav Ben David. In 2020, I ran for the U.S. Senate because I was worried about the progression of climate change. I didn't win, and here I am 6 years later when we are in the middle of the climate crisis. And locally, we need to do something about it, which is why I'm running for county commissioner. So my priority is water. I'm sure some of you have already got my card in the mail. This is my priority, but after serving on the Planning and Zoning Commission for the last 3 years, I know county commissioners do a lot more than just worry about water. Here are the issues county commissioner can deal with. We cannot release the Epstein files, but we do a lot of other things, responsible for a lot of other things. This is what I think about each of these issues. But my priority list may not be your priority list. You may be in a different place in life, have a different background, different needs. So what I need is to hear from you what your priorities are. Please go through the platform, rank these, and mail this back to me. It's already prepaid. It won't cost you anything. Or if there are many of you in the household, some of you can fill the survey via the QR code. I'll remind everybody we have a crowded primary in a Democratic side. 4 of us are running. We need you to get out and vote before, starting tomorrow and before August 18th. And thank you very much for everything.
All right, great. Hello, everybody. My name is Eric Boss, and I'm running for County Commissioner in Albany County. I believe the people of Albany County have a right to self-determine the stewardship of community resources, and especially the rights of landowners and the rights of our downstream neighbors. So this means we need to steward our resources respectably and responsibly. I have a commitment to creative solutions through community partners. My history so far in Laramie has been being involved in public events, being involved in different nonprofits to make sure that resources are shared. Communicating to and informing Albany County residents about the choices made by this commission and why we made them. I want to acknowledge all of the housing progress that the commission and city council and especially the committees within this county have done to push forward housing and making housing more affordable. Especially the change of language that they did in April, and especially the different, oh, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. The different ways that you can build on property responsibly by getting a permit. That's the word I was looking for. And then also I'm here for young families and for young voters. These people are our future, and I understand that as a 33-year-old, I represent a younger bracket. And so the things that are important to me and my family, affordable housing that makes sense, protecting our public lands, and the clean water. Me and my family are having a hard time affording housing without having roommates. I've run all over Happy Jack, I've skied all over, I've gone all over Vitavoo. Public lands are very important, and they're especially important to our clean water. So, thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Good evening. My name's Terry Jones, and I just was making a mad dash from Cheyenne, so very hot. So I have hat hair, so I'm keeping my hat on. So, thank you. I stand for very common sense, order of business, being straightforward, being very transparent as we do the commissioner meetings. I think that the public knows that they are more than welcome at any time to be in a commissioner meeting. We always have our door open, and we love to hear what people have to say and the comments that they have to make. So we encourage you to be there to let us know what you're thinking and feeling, and I know that we're all out in the public, and I use the old saying, catch as catch can. If you catch me on a Sunday, great, I'll take the time right then and there. So I'm an easy access person. There's been a lot of talk about the city council and the county commissioners, and I think it's important that everyone knows that the County Commissioner Association, as well as the Wyoming Association of Municipalities, got together and went to the legislature and worked together to get an 8% direct distribution so that we aren't going every year to the legislature and begging money. We got this as a line item, and so we will just be getting that money, and both the county and the state are in great need of the help, and so I commend the city for stepping in and helping too. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take 2 questions. Roger will find you. Any questions for County Commission? Yes, Ed?
Yeah, that's a hot topic right now, and I'd like to hear the take of each one of you on preparing regulations for the advent of possibility of data centers arriving in Albany County.
Thanks, Ed. No easy ones from you ever, are there? Data centers is a hot topic. As a sitting commissioner, you can't come out and say no or yes, right? When you haven't seen anything cross your plate. You have to understand what's being asked. You have to understand the impact on the community. And so like any other topic or decision that is difficult to make at the commission, you ask people both pro and con. You go to people's doors, you call them up, and you ask them what's the thing, right? What really drives their ideas behind it? And then you read. You've got to be informed. And so data centers have a really big impact on the environment, right? There's power. They have been used to raise the rates of power in local communities. There's water. There's heat islands associated with them. There's a lot of impact that comes from the build of the data centers with housing and lots of crews. And then when the data center is left, there's not many people to staff it. So that is a difficult thing. As a son of an oil field worker, boom and bust is a difficult way to run a community or a family. So thank you very much.
I agree with Pete. What a shock we got asked this question. Have been getting asked this question at every forum and almost every questionnaire that I get. And I'm just going to repeat what I've already said previously. Any development, I don't care what it is, there's a right place and a wrong place. I do have to admit, the more I learn about data centers and I learn about the noise and the water usage and the demands on the electrical grid, the more concerned that I am that if we were to ever allow that to happen in Albany County, it has to have proper siting, has to be in the right location. I think I said once before, there's a right location and a wrong location for every development. There's closed loop, which maybe will result in having less effect onto our water, but right now, Marav will echo this, we're in the middle of a drought. We don't have the water to spare. And anything at the end of the day, any development needs to be a net positive more than a negative. And if it's going to be a negative, then I have to vote no. If it's going to waste our water, I would have to vote no. We have to have guarantees and we have to have regulations that if they go outside the scope of what they're permitted, that they heavily are fined. But right now, I'm not a yes or a no on data centers. Thank you. Or any development for that fact.
My priority is water. We have not enough water sometimes for the city residents. Many of my neighbors that live on aquifer are running dry right now. So at the moment, I don't think data centers should even be considered in Albany County. Now, people say, I want an indefinite moratorium on data centers. And my gut reaction is, no, I don't like a lifetime indefinite anything, let alone moratoriums. Because 20 years from now, they may have data centers that don't consume any water. Why should I penalize my community by putting something down that will prevent progress? I'll tell you what, and Ed knows this, we can come up with community benefit agreements with whoever wants to develop whatever they want in Albany County, and not just hand them our resources for free, but demand, no, you're not going to use electricity from our grid, you are going to create energy for us and yourself, And I want 2 wildlife overpasses of I-80.
All right. So on the subject of data centers, which has been a very hot topic issue, in doing some research, I was able to find a document through actually a contact who has testified to Congress called the Clean Economy Coalition of Wisconsin, who created a data center accountability framework. Anything in regards to a data center, I would put it through the filter of this framework, which has 10 points, prioritize all under the subjects of 3 points: prioritizing affordable clean energy solutions, maximizing state and local economic development commitments, and preserving Wyoming's natural resources. And I just want to bring attention to the idea that this is an issue. It's clearly an issue that has impacted many communities. And I also want to recognize that this is an issue of human rights, because data centers and AI go hand in hand, and we need to think about human rights and workers' rights. Thank you.
Well, data centers are a big question, and as a commissioner, what's most important to me is that I've got to learn. And there's so much information out there that's right, and there's so much information out there that's incorrect, and we have to learn so we can filter through that. And we have to look at what is the data center going to do for us? And are we going to benefit from it? Are they going to produce electricity from solar and natural gas? What are they going to do with the excess? Are they going to put it back in the Albany County grid, which we are desperate for? How are they going to get their water? Do they have their own water rights on their own land? When somebody come in and has positives with these, I want to be sure I take a second look and learn more. Thank you.
We got another question, don't we?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm waiting for
Okay.
it.
Okay.
I'm ready for you, Jim.
Pete's ready. Anybody?
I'm locked and loaded, Jim.
Yeah, right. Boy, you rare.
It's hot up here.
Got me there, Pete. Okay. Donald has a question here.
As aspiring members of the commission, what's your recommendation on how we vote on the resolution on property tax in November?
Thanks, Donald. I appreciate the question. It's pretty straightforward for me. Property taxes pay for services. If you would rather not have services, then I guess you would support reducing your property taxes. And those services are fire, police, streets, schools. Remember, 70% of property taxes go to the schools. And I think you really need to understand the connection between property taxes and services. We have, for a long time, enjoyed really great services. This will hit Albany County much harder than it will hit Campbell County. It's 35% of our budget. It's 3% of theirs. We do 85% of our budget is people. I'm not sure how we can do that without firing people. And I think people need to understand that that's what's on the line. It sounds great to pay less taxes, but then you have to tell me who, if I'm elected again to the commission, whom should I fire? Thank you so much.
I love easy questions, thank you. I would suggest or recommend all of you vote no for the exact same reason Pete said. We need the funding to run our community. And if we don't have the funding, then we're going to have to cut services and we're going to have to cut staff. That will become an untenable situation. I do understand the desire for residents in the community to want to pay less. We got people that live on fixed incomes. We've seen assessed property values go up and they're having to pay more property taxes. I would like to see the legislature work on something where people reach a certain age, like 65, and their property taxes freeze. Or that if you've been, I don't know, we need to be able to figure out a better system so that the people that are being harmed by paying high property taxes can get a benefit. Not just a general cut that everybody gets and that harms your community and your county. We can't afford that. You will not like what happens in Laramie and Albany County if this passes and tough decisions have to be made. People's lives will be destroyed, people will have to be let go, and you're going to have to pay a lot more for the other services that are left. Thank you.
We have two ways to raise money for services: a property tax and a sales tax. And for equity and equality, I support property tax because it's progressive, meaning people who have more, people who own more can pay more. Sales tax, on the other hand, is regressive. Everybody pays the same because it doesn't matter if you live in a trailer park on a lot that now costs you an arm and a leg, you still pay the same 6 pence as someone who lives in a McMansion. So if I believe in human rights, in equality, and in basically equality, is yes on property tax, no on sales tax, except I voted yes for the current sales tax because we need a new animal shelter. Thank you.
I am not for a 25-35% cut of property taxes. Documents like the Laramie Growth Area Plan really give me inspiration for what this city is able to create, hold themselves accountable to, and follow through with. Speaking with elected officials and hearing about the cost the last time that we had a 25% property tax. Talking with the sheriff's department, who I have volunteered with at the detention center, and how, you know, the warm meal that they are able to afford to serve goes to the morning breakfast because that's the meal that most people get to eat. So this really has real live impacts on people, and the cost of jobs is really what I want to center here, the right of workers, so workers' rights. Thank you.
It's pretty amazing when you get 5 people up here that are all in agreement on one thing, and that is that reducing our sales or our property tax through the People's Initiative is not a good idea. If that's voted in, then we will no longer be able to do the tax help for people in Albany County that are in most need, and that's going to be very detrimental to them. And I laid off 13 people in 2017 as a brand new commissioner. I don't want to do that again. That was one of the most devastating things I've done in my life, to have people cry because they don't know where are they going to go from here. And please vote no on the sale or the property tax.
Okay, now we have a lot of county offices, and we will run through them. We'll take county sheriff. So we have Appelhans and Wyatt. Come forward, guys.
Good evening. I'm Aaron Appelhans. I'm your current Albany County Sheriff, and I'm running for re-election to stay your Albany County Sheriff. I'm running to forward the progress that I've made in the 6 years in the Sheriff's Office. When I took over, we had a Sheriff's Office that was disconnected from the community, and we've done everything that we can to increase our transparency, have better relationships with our community, and truly serve Albany County the way Albany County residents wanted to be served. When I came in, Albany County residents were very clear that they wanted more interactions with my office dealing with mental health crisis awareness, de-escalation, and helping those in our community with mental health issues. And in my time there, we've been able to do that, both on the patrol side and in the detention side as well, to where we've instituted de-escalation trainings, crisis intervention trainings, and put that across every aspect of law enforcement contacts that you have with the Albany County Sheriff's Office. One of the other things that Albany County residents asked for was to really get out there in the community and really tackle those issues that the community wanted. And so we've done a pretty good job of going out into the community outside of city limits and really working on emergency services that we provide, land issues, livestock issues with everybody that's in the community as well. So, and then lastly, they wanted law enforcement that they could trust and that was accessible to them. And we've really been able to do that in the 6 years that I've been sheriff, to where we have tons of people that come to our office for all kinds of different reasons, and we're able to help them in any way, shape, or form. Thank you.
First off, listen to Pete. My name is Darren Wyatt, and I'm running for Albany County Sheriff. I have 38 years of law enforcement experience. I've worked virtually every aspect of policing, including patrol. I've worked every aspect of policing, including patrol, gangs, vice, narcotics, SWAT. I was a use of force investigator. I've investigated officer misconduct. 17 of my years have been in leadership and management positions. I have a master's degree in behavioral science with a minor in negotiation and conflict management. And I've also been a public information officer, where I was the media guy for a major metropolitan police and fire department, which has also led me to be deployed to over 35 natural disasters across the United States, including historic wildfires in California, New Mexico, and Washington. I'm running on a platform of public safety over politics. I believe in the rule of law. I also agree with the mental health response. However, I think we need to take it further and get wraparound services for these people, rather than just providing a de-escalation training. We need to reduce the number of law enforcement contacts that people in mental health crisis are experiencing, so that it reduces the trauma that they experience. I believe in fiscal responsibility. I believe in a safe and secure detention center. I believe that you, if anybody is the public, if they have a member of their family who is incarcerated, they need to believe that they will be taken care of safely and securely, and that we would reduce the number of deaths that are occurring in the detention center. I believe in recruitment and retention. We need to hire the best, most qualified candidates for every single position. We need to hire them right, train them right, and treat them right, so that they'll stay with our organization. I also believe in accountability and transparency throughout the organization, real transparency in all situations. And finally, I believe in greater collaboration and joint training with our law enforcement partners, including the Laramie Police Department, the University of Wyoming Police Department, and the Wyoming Highway Patrol. Thank you.
Questions? Carly in the back, please. You take the first question first. You take the second question first.
What do you view the role of your office in cooperating with 287G agreements and unconstitutional holdings of immigrants?
Thank you, Carly, for that question. It's been my view since being sheriff that, like I said, we follow the law. And so any agreement that I have with, whether it be local, state, or federal law enforcement, need to be able to follow that law. And I have a lot of agreements with local, state, and federal law enforcement. All but one agency has been able to follow that rule of law, and unfortunately, it's been ICE. And since I've been there, I've been pretty strong in saying that we're not going to cooperate with any agency, whether it's ICE or anybody else, that can't follow the law, that doesn't apply the law, and feels that they need special circumstances in enforcing the law.
I have a completely different take on the issue. I do not agree with the 287G agreement because I believe that we need to have our citizens trust us. However, the ICE detainers are a completely separate issue. It's an issue where somebody has been arrested for a violation of state law. Here in Wyoming, ICE has a hold for them because they're either being deemed to be a threat to public safety or a threat to the United States of America, the national security of our nation, or they've already been deported once, or they've been convicted of certain violent crimes. Therefore, I would go with all other 22 sheriffs in the state of Wyoming who uphold and honor the ICE detainers, and it's about public safety over politics, and it's about the protection of our community. Thank you.
Any other? I see Pat's hand up. We'll take that as the second question.
My question does go to the ICE issue. I appreciate you both sharing your viewpoints. However, given what we see happening, I want to know, are you going to be, both of you, going to be responsible for making certain that human rights violations are not going to occur, because they occur frequently with ICE operations?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's another reason why I feel that we should honor the ICE detainers, because what happens then is it's a direct transfer of custody from a person who's in the detention center to ICE. They drive into the detention center, you put them in a van, and they take them where they're going to take them for immigration proceedings, okay? When they're being released into the community, what happens is ICE sends a task force over from Cheyenne to go relocate and rearrest the person in public. That creates liability for the sheriff's office when they've released somebody if they go commit another crime. It creates fear in the community when they see ICE agents running around, and it just is not good business. So the way to prevent ICE from coming in and doing these operations like you're seeing in some of these other major cities is to not have a sanctuary city or a sanctuary county policy, which is actually illegal in the state of Wyoming anyway.
So the Albany County Sheriff's Office has already gone to lengths to be able to protect your rights while you're here. There is no immigration law in the state of Wyoming, and so we can't create laws to enforce on there as well. So when somebody does commit a crime, then we make the arrest, and then they go through their due process given by the Constitution through there as well. It's not the sheriff's office decision on who gets to be released when they get to be released. That goes through the judicial process. Essentially, the sheriff's office is going to continue to just follow those orders from judges on when they need to be released. We will also follow those legal orders on when they need to be held when it's signed off by a judge and not by an agency that's simply making a request.
Okay, we have, yeah, you can, she's last. Yeah. I have 5 offices that have 1 candidate each. We'll call you up, but we will question you individually with your office. So we have White for clerk. Step up, everybody. Treasurer, we have Fletcher. Coroner, we have King. Assessor, we have Matthews. And clerk of district court, we have Streeter. So you can go in any order. Again, refresh us on your office, and we'll question you individually since you have different offices. So who wants to go first? Yep, you're first.
A for assessor. Let me lower this a little bit. A shorty. All right. Well,
I'm going to get a move on this because I am dying of heat and I'm always sweating, so I don't need any help in that direction. But my name's Chelsea Matthews. I am your current Albany County Assessor, and I am seeking re-election. This would be my second term. I've worked in the office for over 17 years. I've held just about every position you can have in that office. I'm certified as a Wyoming property tax appraiser through the state of Wyoming, and I take classes every year to continue that education. The basic job of the assessor is to list, locate, and value property. So that's a pretty big job. We have about 20,000 parcels in Albany County, and we have to value those every year. My job's pretty heavily mandated by Wyoming statute, as well as rules and regulation put forth by the Department of Revenue. However, I believe experience is pretty necessary. You really want someone in there that understands all those laws and can implement them fairly and equitably across the county. During my last term, my biggest goal was communicating more with the public. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job. I'm still hoping to continue that. But I've hosted some town halls with my colleagues, Tracy and Kayla. I started including a letter with your notices of values and little inserts about all the property tax exemptions in your notice of value and your tax bill. And then I've also revamped the county website. My main goal this year is to review all properties that are currently tax exempt and make sure that those exemptions still hold. So again, my name's Chelsea Matthews, and I appreciate your vote in August and again in November.
Any questions for Chelsea? Any questions? We're going to take them office by office. Going once. Aaron? Yep.
Chelsea, we heard earlier about the property tax initiative and what it would do to the county budget. In your opinion, how would it impact values of properties here in Albany County, and is it a detriment or a benefit if it passes?
You know, I'm probably the person that hears the most how much and how hard property taxes are on people. So I don't tell people how to vote. I will explain to you what the benefit would be to you, and then I will explain how it will affect the county and the rest of our taxing authorities. So 50% off of your home, that's a pretty good chunk. Probably on average, it's about $300–400 a year. For the county, it's gonna be $500,000 to $1 million, just depending on how many people actually apply. $1 million would be that high end. That'd be if everyone who qualified applied. I don't believe that will be the case. But really, that's what my job is, just to educate people. Is your benefit worth the services you're gonna lose?
A second question? Okay, thank you.
Got off easy. All right, thank you.
My name is Dwayne Streeter, and I'm running to be your next Clerk of District Court for Albany County. The Clerk of District Court's office is created by Article 5, Section 13 of the Wyoming Constitution, and our function is to maintain the records of the court. Some upcoming items that we are concerned with is how to protect confidential records while allowing access to public records. I feel like it's only a matter of time before you're allowed to do these record searches at home. I feel like it's something the public's entitled to do. I feel like we need to have more of a transfer of public record, but at the same time, there has to be a gatekeeper there to make sure that items like adoption records or confidential financial affidavits aren't slipping through the cracks. The other things that we're going to do in our office, that we focus very heavily on public service. We don't set policy in our office. Our office is not one that sets rules. The rules that we set are how well we're going to serve you when you come in. We have a saying in our office about being user-friendly. For any of you who have come in to use our services, whether it's paying a fee or a fine or receiving money from us, or just getting a passport, we want to make sure that we fulfill every issue you have, that we take care of whatever your issues are, and then we just do a good job for you. we are going to focus on the service part of public service. My name's Dwayne Streeter, and I hope you'll consider me as your candidate for the Clerk of District Court. Thank you.
Kayla? Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to cheat you out of your questions there. Questions for Dwayne? Okay. Now, Kayla. Sorry, Dwayne.
Sorry, it's a hot one up here. Good evening. Thank you all for being here this evening. My name is Kayla White, and I am your current Albany County Clerk, and I am running for re-election on the office of the County Clerk. Just a couple of things about me. I started in the office in 2007. I was appointed as the Chief Deputy in 2009, and then, of course, ran in 2022 and was elected in 23. I've worked, like Chelsea, in every area of our office. I think it gives me a vast amount of experience when working with the public. Probably one of the biggest things that I did in the last 4 years that I was elected is we moved forward with electronic poll books for elections. Of course, elections is a hot button ticket in every, in my office. E-poll books are a way to check in voters on election day electronically so that we can run those voters through HAVA checks, which are citizenship, residency, as well as felon checks. I've moved forward with continuing using the drop box at our election building through the 28 days that we are early voting. This year, actually, we will have live stream of our drop box, so that's kind of exciting. And of course, we've moved forward with our absentee polling place, which everybody loves to use. Of course, early voting starts tomorrow, July 21st at 9 a.m. in our office. I worked with Chelsea and with Tracy on trying to get information out to the public through town hall meetings. I also did a mailer this year because there was so much change in election law with the residency requirements. I hope that you received that mailer in your, at your home. A great way for the public to know what's going on in our office, and I hope that I can continue to do so. I also worked with a bipartisan election team of voters that came up with some really great ideas and suggestions that we can actually move forward with in our election this year. So my name is Kayla White, and of course I'm running for re-election, and I would love your vote.
Questions for Kayla? I guess they know you.
Eric's got one. Just about got out of here.
Almost got.
I like to know this question of how do you see your relationship between yourself, the community, the people up there?
That is a very good question. My relationship, of course, with my colleagues is really, really important. Of course, we serve the people of this community, and if we can't work together, how are we gonna work for you? I love public service. I never thought it would be, trust me, I never thought I was gonna be up here running for office, but I love it. I love what I do. I love my office, and the people that I work with, it's wonderful. I have a great staff, but really working with the other elected officials and the department heads in the county is really ideal, and we have to have that relationship if we want to do great things for our community. So thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Yep. Tracy? We actually have
My short colleagues. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tracy Fletcher, and I want to thank everybody for coming and bearing through the heat. Nothing to put you more to sleep than talking about accounting. So let's start with, who knows what a debit is? Just kidding. I'm not going to go down the school aisle. Anyway, like I said, I am running for re-election for Albany County Treasurer. I've been in this office for 23 years. I have an accounting degree from the University of Wyoming. Go Pokes. Yeah. I've done every single position in this office. I've issued registrations for a number of you. I've done your property tax payments. I've done the accounting. I distributed the meal levies. And I tell you this because this is important. We've got a lot of financial uncertainty in front of us. And we need somebody on the ground that can hit the road running on day one, that isn't going to be trying to figure out how to log on to a computer system day one. but do the job on day one. And that's what I'm here to do. I work very closely with the auditors, and I have delivered clean audits year after year in all my terms, and this is my second term, by the way, going for my third. I work very closely with my colleagues. We've hosted town halls to get information out to the public. We don't, like Chelsea says, we don't tell you vote this way, here's the facts, you decide what's best for your family. And that's what we want to do. I'm also rerunning because I started a little software change, the county. Our accounting software had been in place since 1999. The county has grown, but the software never grew. So we're in the process of changing that. We've gotten a lot of that taken care of, but we still got some quirks we're working out because we got some unique situations as it comes to our payroll. Not every government does their payroll the same way, so we got some quirks to work out. No, Allie. Oh wait, questions.
Questions? Yep. Any questions?
All right, fellow candidate.
Oh, sorry.
What are you most proud of in terms of communicating to the community through town halls and things?
The most proud moment I have, and this one isn't through the town hall, this is the real reason I ran for county treasurer. Back in 2018, before I signed up, a gal came to my desk and was never informed by the previous people in my position that she had a tax lien on her property and was about to lose it through a tax deed. This woman, I sat at my desk, and I can still think about it, and I can still well up. We cried. I cried with her. She came back 2 weeks later, had a loan to pay for it, and she gave me, with her bright red lipstick, a kiss on the cheek and thanked me with the biggest hug, and it was amazing. And those kind of customer service things, that's what it's about. It's about communicating and letting people know. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes you have to tell them the hard truth. But people need to know, and that's what it's all about, and helping them the best of your ability.
Okay. I guess they've seen enough of you. Sally?
Waddling around. Hi, I'm Sally King. I'm your current Albany County Coroner, and I'm running for re-election. I think part of this job, one of the bigger important parts is experience. And so I was hired as an unpaid intern Memorial Day weekend of 2016, and then was shortly there offered an opportunity to be a deputy, and then I was elected for my first term at the last election, so I'm running for my second term. I have investigated all sorts of deaths, anything from child deaths to homicides to natural deaths. So I try to walk into every situation unbiased. I get a certain amount of information, I digest that, but then I still approach the scene without bias. I believe that every decedent deserves respect and dignity in their final moments, in their final process, regardless of their background, regardless of what they've done throughout their life. And I think the families also deserve the respect and decorum that my office currently provides. I take the time to explain my process to families and keep them up to date as the process goes on. Unfortunately, it's not a 24-hour turnover situation. I'm looking at a 6 to 8 week thing just to do my job and make sure I do it thoroughly. And I believe everybody deserves that. So I hope to receive your votes in August and then again in November. Thank you.
Anything for Sally? Okay, guys. Yep. Okay. And we'll complete the county with, we have 2 candidates for attorney, Brasitis and Hensley. Roxy got called out of town, so she has a representative. So let's close out the county, and then we'll get to the legislature. So, okay. No talking about sheriff. So.
Hi, my name is Kurt Britzius. I'm your current county attorney, and I'm running for re-election. I've been with the office since roughly 2009. I stayed until 2019 when I left for private practice, and then I came back in May of 21 when my predecessor resigned, and I was appointed county attorney and then elected in 2022. 2022 was the last one. During my time at the office, I've primarily been a criminal prosecutor. I was a deputy county attorney until around 15, 16 when I was promoted to chief deputy county attorney. I prosecuted every crime from speeding to homicide, and I spent most of my time in circuit and district court here in Albany County, trying cases and settling cases and charging cases. During my time, I've had the pleasure of working with our courts, with our defense bar, with law enforcement, all of whom I can say in Albany County are first rate. I've enjoyed working with them all. They do a great job, and we have a collegiate atmosphere in Albany County, which I think makes us unique in the country. We are not so adversarial as they may be, particularly down south in Colorado about things, and we tend to come to what I like to think is a just result. The prosecutor, his primary or her primary goal is to be a minister of justice. Unlike every other attorney, we're not trying to win cases. We're not just trying to beat the other guy. We're trying to come to a fair and just resolution, both for the victims, for society, and for the defendant. During my time, we've maintained an adult diversion program, which allows adults to avoid convictions and still have accountability. We've had a juvenile diversion program that keeps kids out of court. We have a gatekeeper program for the mentally ill that come in contact with the system that tries to keep them out of the system. And I hope to continue doing that in the next 4 years. Thank you.
I'm just simply reading a statement from Roxy Hensley. For those of you who don't know me, I have deep roots in the Laramie community. I first came here as an undergraduate in 1985, received my BS in personnel management in 1987, and returned to pursue a Juris Doctor in 2002, graduating in 2005. My husband and I raised our 4 children here while starting and operating 3 businesses in addition to private law practice. From 2008 to 2019, I was a contract employee for the State Attorney General's Office as a guardian ad litem. This combination of public and private legal experience combined with a real-world small business experience makes me uniquely qualified to execute the duties of the county attorney. The county attorney has basically 3 primary roles. The first is to prosecute and bring justice to all felony cases as well as misdemeanor cases committed outside of the city of Laramie. As a former defense attorney, I am well accustomed to the processes and procedures of the criminal justice system and have the advantage of having defended clients prosecuted by that system. The second primary role of the county attorney is to provide legal counsel and advice to the county commissioners and county department heads. The county attorney has a duty to provide legal counsel, civil, that will reduce incidents of judgments against the actions of county officials. The county attorney should also provide counsel to all county officials that ensures that all actions taken by those officials are clearly constitutional and do not inhibit the rights of citizens. Finally, the county attorney is responsible for adjudicating juvenile child neglect cases. My depth of experience in this arena is unparalleled by any other candidate and is a knowledge base that is extremely valuable to the stability and serenity of our community. The family continues to be the foundation of our civilization, and we cannot hope to have a prosperous, peaceful, and well-adjusted society in its absence. Thoughtful decisions powered by deep insights in family law cases will have a positive impact in promoting stability and functioning, productive family units. Roxy can be reached by email at roxyhensley@gmail.com or by phone at 307-399-1651. And I will not answer questions for her.
Any? Marav? I got her.
Thank you very much for the work you do for us. Recently, we had a lot of cases of animal abuse in Wyoming and in Albany County. What kind of situation would you consider prosecuting such events, such cases? Thank you.
Yeah, we've had a few here in Albany County. One particular has gotten a lot of press, but there have been some animal hoarding is also a huge issue, which we've run into. And it's because it's difficult generally people, those cases I've dealt with, it's people that collect animals but then can't afford to keep them up. So you deal with those by trying to protect the animals. We've done it through probationary terms where we prohibit those individuals from having animals for as long as possible, get them education on how to properly take care of animals. The penalties in Wyoming with animal cruelty are not the strongest, but we try to push them as far as we can to make sure that the community gets justice. I have dogs and have had for my entire life. We take those cases seriously and will continue to do so.
Thank you. Recently, there's been litigation against the Wyoming Boys School for how they have treated youth that are in detention. And so I'm curious what you've done in your term to try to keep youth involved, or youth justice involved folks out of detention facilities. And what do you see moving forward given the recent findings of the Wyoming Boys School?
Thank you. So the first line of defense to keep kids out of the criminal justice system, the juvenile justice system, is our diversion program. Every citation comes to my office. We review them weekly. We determine whether to place them with diversion, do nothing, send them to adult court, or send them to juvenile court. So we really, I'd say 80–90% of those cases go to juvenile diversion through big brothers, big sisters. Never see the courtroom. With the ones that do go to court, the boys' school or the girls' school is the last resort. We've only sent a handful of kids there while I've been county attorney, and even prior to that, Albany County's always had a very, I think, progressive and view with juveniles of not seeing them out of county if all possible. We try to find homes here that can get them support. The only issue I will say where we could use more resources is more in-state facilities to offer treatment as opposed to just locking kids up. In the future, we just need to investigate what happened at the boys' school more, learn more about it, and make decisions based off those investigations.
Okay, we're rounding third, everybody. We just have 5 legislative candidates, and we'll round the evening out with them. Chestek, Sherwood, she's represented tonight, Wilkin, Wright, and Rothfuss. So. And we have 1, 2. Okay, do we have Lorraine? Is Lorraine? Oh, there you are. Okay. Okay.
Hi, my name is Ken Chesek. I am the current representative for House District 13, which is the southeast corner of the state. I'm running for re-election, and I would like your vote. 2 minutes to talk about what I want to do is impossible. I have a list that's way too long to go through it all, so I'll just try and hit the highlights of it. First of all, I'm kind of a good government guy. I like to do things that make the government work better. So, for example, getting money out of politics is one of my long-term projects. I'm going to want to keep working on that. I have an idea. We've heard about some of the problems with the tax assessments going on right now. The legislature has made mincemeat of the assessment system, and I have an idea to the point where I think the current system is unconstitutional. And I have a reform project I want to propose. It's a heavy lift. But one of the consequences of that, if it's successful, is it would give to the local taxing bodies the ability to set their own budget, to set their own mills and raise their own revenue. And that would solve a lot of the problems that we're seeing. We've heard about data centers tonight. I'm on the Select Water Committee. We have actually started the process of fact-finding. We had a hearing a few months ago where we invited some of the data center builders in to find out what they're doing with water. And we're actually going to be touring a data center in 2 weeks at the next meeting. So we're doing the fact-finding, and where that leads I'm hoping to have some legislation to require closed-loop cooling systems. I've led the fight on keeping libraries free and not banning books. I've led that fight. I've led the fight to protect University of Wyoming financing. There's a lot I want to do, a lot I need to do, and I just need another term to do it. So thank you so much.
I have my phone for time. I am Trey Sherwood in disguise. She got a lot older in the few minutes that I'm supposed to talk. But when you choose a representative, you're choosing someone who will listen, work hard for our community, and they'll show up. That's why I'm asking you to re-elect Trey Sherwood to represent House District 14. Trey has earned a reputation for being accessible, prepared, and committed to the people of Albany County. She's worked hard to support public education, strengthen our local economy, address housing challenges, and advocate for Wyoming's small business. She has served on the very important Joint Appropriations Committee, where she has helped make important decisions about our tax dollars, how our tax dollars are invested, raising teachers' salaries, state employees' funding for UW and the Business Council. Trey understands that good leadership isn't about headlines. It's about solving problems. Whether you're a lifelong resident, a business owner, a student, a ranching family, or someone raising kids here, she believes that you have a voice that should be heard. She has spent years bringing people together, building partnerships, and working to make Laramie and Albany County stronger. In a time when politics are so divided, Trey has demonstrated that it's possible to lead with integrity and respect and a willingness to work across differences. She understands our community because she is part of our community. Trey is running with experience, leadership, and compassion, and would like your support for her re-election campaign. So please join me in voting to re-elect Trey Sherwood for the Wyoming House District 14. Together we can continue to build a stronger future for our community and our state. Thank you. And she got old fast.
Hi, I'm Cam Wright. I'm running for House District 46. I am not an incumbent. I'd be someone who would show up. And what would prepare me for that job? Well, I've served for 30 years in the U.S. military, both enlisted and officer. For the last 23 and a half years, I've taught electrical and computer engineering to Wyoming students. I served for 6 years as the Dean of the College of Engineering and Physical Sciences. So I'd led units with over 300 people with budgets of over $750 million. I've been trained over the years to approach and try to solve complex problems. We have a lot of complex problems. As I talk to people around the district, what are the things I hear? We have to keep public lands public. We have to strengthen and keep strong our education system across the board, K through 12, community college, the university, even trade schools, Wyotech, places like that, because not every child wants to go to college or needs to go to college. So they need to have their own choices. We have to have an economy that provides enough jobs for people. But it's not just jobs, because I know when I was dean going around the state, there are well-paying jobs that go unfilled. What's the problem there? We need both affordable and available housing and health care. These are things that are a real problem when companies want to come to our state. But we have to build an environment in which our children can stay here, build their futures. And so, my son just graduated from high school. I'm worried about where he's going to go. So, one of my little mantras that I keep saying as I talk to people, I have the 3 A's. I will be available, I will be accessible, and I will be accountable to the people of District 46. Cam Wright, District 46.
It's interesting to share. I'm Gary Welkin. I'm also a candidate for House District 46 and on the Democratic ticket for this election. I share the concerns Cam lifted up. my priorities have been where I find myself living in this county. And after 30 years here in Albany County, I've been involved in county government almost all the time I was here. First as a deputy sheriff, and then also in my role as code enforcement officer for the county for 10 years, a part-time position with no benefits. And I still was willing to serve for that. So it was a challenge to hear the issues we deal with, the public land issues, the nuisance issues that a code enforcement officer deals with. And the main things I'm now finding as a retired Methodist minister, which brought me to this county in the first place. I retired from the church in Rollins, but I never seemed to be able to escape the jobs because I was asked to fill in as a part-time pastor for Medicine Bow and Walden, and for 25 years was in those places, and bring those experiences and those connections to our community. My issues are personal things. My kids and grandkids lived in this community and then left. Luckily, I've been able to convince my son to come back and that we are a better place than Missouri. And so we're glad to have him here. Not to put Missouri down too much, but I'm here to listen and to respond and care. And as a police chaplain, I was both a pastor and a law enforcement officer on both sides, and I'm here to listen. I can't go anywhere without recognizing somebody I know in the county anymore. And whether it's stopping at the soup kitchen to visit and having folks say, "Corporal, good to see you," and realizing somebody I met in the jail. That's where they knew the corporal. And I listened and I care, and that's why I ask for your vote in this election, so I can listen to you and bring that caring to our community. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carly Provenza. I'm running for House District 45. I'm running for re-election. And I think a lot of people have said we're running because there's a lot of problems we need to solve, right? And I think what's inherent in that, though, what I've witnessed while in my term at the legislature, is the root of that is that lawmakers and government aren't treating people power as inherent to the people. We have a government right now that is run by out-of-state interests. We have a government right now that is not necessarily listening to the people, and I'm talking specifically about the legislature. And that's why during my time in the legislature, I have fought for bills that bring transparency and accountability of government. It's why when I witnessed some behavior on the House floor that I took a picture of it and I sent it to the press because I felt that the people needed to know. And it's also why I've passed legislation protecting public land access. Public lands bring people together from all political backgrounds. It is the epitome of what freedom is in our state, being able to go outside and do what we want with our time and our families and raise our families there. And it's why you see me fighting for these things, not just in the legislature, but also beside you at the state capitol on the steps. It's why you see me in community meetings. It's why I did a listening tour across the state of Wyoming to make sure that people were heard across the state because their lawmakers weren't listening to them. I come from a background where my family struggled to get by. We knew about affordability. We knew what it was like to not know where the rent was going to come from or the food on the table. And when I go to Cheyenne, that's what I think about, the people that are struggling with that right now. And that it should be people like that making decisions, not people that are disconnected from the problems that currently affect us. So I hope that you will vote for me, and thank you. And remember, this seat is not my seat, it is yours.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Rothfuss, and I'm running for re-election to Senate District 9. It's been my honor to represent Albany County and Laramie for the past 16 years in Senate District 9. And I look around this room and I see so many faces that I've had the pleasure of working with, that I've teamed up with, not in any partisan way, but just in a let's get things done. Let's do the work for the people of our county, our state, and do the right thing for them. And that's what I hope to continue to do with your vote. I've had the pleasure in the Wyoming legislature of serving for all of those 16 years on the Education Committee and every education-like committee, whether it's Select Education Accountability, Recalibration, School Facilities, and that's been one of my true passions and will continue to be. There is no greater supporter of public education than me. I care passionately about our state's K-12 system, and we have a K-12 system that is second to none. We are so fortunate to have what we have. And I don't know if everyone really appreciates that all of the time, but I certainly do. I have 2 kids right now that are in the K-12 system, 2 more that are at the University of Wyoming, and I can't say enough great things about the experiences that they've had and that I've had through our community. Our teachers are exceptional, our institutions are exceptional, but we have to keep fighting for that. We can't sit by and let attacks on public education continue and be recognized. We have to be dynamic, we have to be active, and we have to do everything we can to make sure that the public education system is still the jewel, the shining light on the hill. And we've seen those attacks through the legislature in recent years. We've seen vouchers. We've seen things related to school choice that weaken the fabric that we've created for the public education system. And I will continue to fight those things. Haven't always been successful. I wish I had. I think many folks here wish I had as well. But we'll keep trying. And with your vote, I'll continue doing that. Thank you.
Okay, everybody. 2 quick questions and 6 quick answers.
If you're elected or re-elected, will you promise to show up to city council meetings, if elected or re-elected, will you show up to county commissioner meetings, city council meetings, town halls, school boards meetings, because you represent every one of those people?
If I'm in town. During session, of course, things get really crazy and it's impossible to do that kind of stuff. But I do need to stay in touch with all those entities. I need to know what's going on in the cities and the county and in the city of Laramie. School board, I need to know more about that. And I must confess, I have not been to one of those meetings. I do watch them online sometimes, but I don't ever go in person. And I probably should do more of that. So I do commit to being accessible and being in touch with everybody. And I am open. I have fielded questions from everybody, all those officials, and would welcome more of those kinds of contacts. Thank you.
Absolutely, yes. You can't be a representative for your government if you don't go out and talk to the people and learn from the people and understand what their issues are. And that's one of the things that I think sets me apart from the incumbent is I will show up. I'll be there. If you look on the campaign Facebook page, you'll see I've shown up a lot to everything. And when I talk to people there, I say, I am not just going to show up during election season. I'm going to show up all year, every year, because that's part of the job. And I wouldn't say I'd do it if I wasn't going to do the job 100%. So yes, I will show up, and I'll listen, and I'll learn.
One of the exciting things is being able to be involved in the community and contacts, always keeping track of the resources we have to hear what's going on in the school board, on the hospital board, on the activities going on. I've discussed and talked with a lot of things and encouraged and been engaged with our candidates, our legislators throughout the years I've been here. And definitely want to keep that involvement going and be your voice, be your representative, so that you know you can call me, I'll be there, I'll be by your side if I can. Those boards and agencies, I try to understand what goes on with all of them, and it's a lot of homework. And I do a lot of reading of the background of the news and keeping track of what's happening with the different communities and agencies and all the things. Sometimes I try to sleep too, but that doesn't always happen, other than on hot days like this. So I ask for your vote and send me to help.
I think every time I've been invited to a meeting, I have been there. So when we're talking about county commission or city council or school board, I have shown up. I think you probably can agree, Councilman, that maybe having me breathe down your neck at every meeting might not be very comfortable. So I think that there's a delicate balance to that relationship. I think that making sure that I'm available to you is really important. And, you know, as the higher up, I guess, on the pecking order, I get complaints from community members when they feel like the other branches of government haven't done their due diligence on something. And when that comes to my attention, I tend to bring that to the powers that be if I don't know what the answers are. And so I think that that's an important relationship to have, is, again, coming back to transparency and accountability. And oftentimes we'll agree on what needs to be done, and sometimes we won't agree, and we'll have to figure out what the best solution is for Wyoming. So I will show up. If you want me to go to every city council meeting, you might have to apologize to your colleagues.
And my answer is similar. The short answer is no, actually. I'm not planning on attending all of the meetings because I don't think I should. It's not my job. If you ask me, you know I will show up, because I always have. And that's true of all of our local, whether it's the county commissioners, the city council, the school board, any other local government entity. I think you all know from experience that if you call me and you need me to show up, I'm going to show up. I'm going to have conversations with you. I will take your phone call. We will have coffee. We will do anything you want. But I don't want our federal delegation showing up to the Wyoming Senate. I don't want that. And in fact, it's kind of creepy when they do. And I don't think that our local officials want me and my colleagues to be there all the time either, unless they need us. And that's part of the partnership. It's the division of power, the division of responsibility, and ensuring that all of you electeds that aren't in the state legislature feel comfortable and don't feel like we're just looking over your shoulder, but that we're there to support you when you need support.
I think many of you know that Trey Sherwood is always accessible. She shows up, she answers any of your emails and your phone calls, and she has asked me to please make sure that you connect with her if you have a specific question. Thank you.
One last question for the evening. Denise? And then we can go home.
So my question for each of you is, how best should we contact you during session when things are changing so fast and bills are coming up and there are amendments and maybe we want you to know how we feel? I feel like after sending many emails and making phone calls that it goes into the great wastebasket, and the people, some people that I contact send form letters that have absolutely nothing to do with what I had asked. So how would each of you candidates think best that we could contact you during that very busy time?
Yeah, we'll go in reverse order. It's really challenging during the legislative session to contact legislators, and I think on behalf of all legislators, I apologize for that. There's just so many different things going on. We get thousands of email a day. It's ridiculous, and it's really hard to identify, is this an email from a constituent in my district, or is this an email from somebody across the country? So my suggestion, there's a few of them. First of all, make it clear from the subject line that you're my constituent and you're just writing to me. I'm going to look for those emails, and I do. Those are the emails I'm going to read first when I'm going through the 1,000. Now, we might not hit them all because, again, it really is a challenge, but those are the ones that we care the most about, is you have a specific interest, you have a specific concern, and you are my constituent. If you send a note during session to all 93 legislators, it's not going to fare very well, honestly. It doesn't get read very well. Phone calls are exceptional, text messages are exceptional. Those are a little easier to get to us. But again, this is a challenge of the session, and my apologies. We all suffer through it, and we struggle to really have that outreach. We have no staff, in case you don't know that. There is no staff answering those emails.
Yeah, I think everything that Chris said is spot on. One thing I'll add, if you have pen and paper, my cell phone number is 307-977-0202. That number is publicly listed on the legislature's website. During session, I think probably the best thing you can do, if you have the ability to do so, is to send a text and see when is a good time. I'll often call you. I'll walk off the floor and call you if we're at a point where I can do so. But cell phone is generally the better way to get a hold of me. As Chris said, we don't have staff. No one's helping us answer our calls. We make $150 a day while our butts are in the seats. And I have to work a full-time job. Quite frankly, during campaign season, it's 3. So text me, call me. That's the best way to start. But the same thing with the email. It will hopefully get answered. If it doesn't, please assume good intentions and that I just missed it. Thank you.
Well, you heard me share that I was a police chaplain and also serving the community. All of those are on-call jobs. If somebody's in the hospital and needs to have the minister there, I need to be at that phone call. If you have an issue, my phone is available. My response is going to be there if I can get there. I appreciate hearing Chris's and Carly's concerns, and those are things I would ask too. The emails, the texting messages, I texted a lot. I have a small cleaning business that I do at nights. So just in case you are up late and asking questions, I'm probably out there mopping some floors somewhere, getting things cleaned up for the citizens in the next day. So I'll be glad to answer. And I tend to be a late owl, which means I probably may not hear you until after 10 o'clock in the morning. But I will respond.
I don't think I could give a better answer than our two incumbents, Chris and Carly. They've lived that. I haven't lived it yet. I hope to live that at some point. But I do think that it's a challenge, and you have to respond, whether it's a text or an email or telephone call or whatever. Keep trying and really do try to identify you, because I'm sure we will get lots of communication from people that are not in the district, not even in the state. So that's important. I will say that when I was Dean of Engineering, I was known for somebody that in over 300 staff and faculty and over 2,000 students, I always responded within a day. And they kind of amazed a lot of people that I would do that. And not only that, I would tell my assistant that if the student needs an appointment with me, you find a time to make an appointment, because I will meet with the students. Because the mantra that I always used, I even had them put it up on the wall of engineering, was we are here to educate, motivate, and mentor the students entrusted to us. I've retired, but I still believe that.
I'll have to echo what Carly and Chris said, that we get thousands of emails a day. I'm a little different in that I actually prefer email. To be honest with you, I hate my phone. I really don't like I can't type with my thumbs. I'm not that dexterous. I just can't do it. But the email, I can read better. Also, my phone is usually on silent or on the floor. I'm not wanting it to be interrupting the session, so my phone is on silent. I'm not going to see it if I'm on the floor. So I will have my email up, and I'll be looking at my email. And I do try and respond first to constituents. Albany County residents are my priority, and then select others, but I'm not going to get to all of them. There's just way too many emails, but at least they're going to be there in a file someplace so I can get back to them later. My phone, I can't be scrolling through my phone for trying to find old emails and then respond to them. I'm not a texter, but email is the best way to get a hold of me. Thank you.
I'm a constituent of Trey Sherwood, District 14, and she always answers my emails. Maybe not the same day, maybe not 2 days later, but she always answers. So I can be pretty confident that she'll answer you too.
Round of applause for all the candidates, please. And we on PVA and the board and everybody else, give yourselves a round. Come on, give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you, everybody. Our next meeting is August 17th. See you there. Be safe. Good night. You must be sweltering.
You know, I was stationed in the tropics a couple of times.
I know.